Naruto vs. Luffy, Saitama vs. Zeno, Tetsuo vs. Magneto, Goku vs. Superman, or even Saitama vs. God himself. Anime and movie fans have argued hypothetical battles for ages. At the end of the day, it's difficult to perfectly pick characters from different universes against each other and get a reasonable conclusion. However, Yuta Okkotsu vs. Gojo Satoru is easier to rationalize. They're not only from the same universe, but we've had a good deal of their capabilities shown to us so far. And so, today on Pangolo, we'll be answering the question, is Yuta stronger than his mentor, Gojo? And before I tell you why, I'll just tell you straight up, no. Yuta Okkotsu is not stronger than the person acknowledged as the strongest sorcerer by virtually everyone. But you know what? Maybe, just maybe, the consensus is wrong on this one. So let's take a look at their abilities and compare. Cursed energy. Yuta Okkotsu is physically and literally married to a very strong curse called Rika. On its own, Rika was able to take on Geru Suguru's powerful curse explosion thingy that had thousands of other curses, including one of the 16 special Grease vengeful cursed spirits. Yuta obtained this powerful talisman from a very tragic occurrence. Rika was actually a childhood love interest of Yuta in school. They were so in love that they even promised to marry each other. Eventually, some drunk driver would end up killing Rika. But not wanting to let go, Yuta himself would claim that he inadvertently cursed her to become what is known as the Queen of Curses. It's a big game to live up to, and she does that time and time again. However, being able to curse someone to that level of unrivaled power is just bonkers. More so considering that he didn't even know he did it at the time. And that's because Yuta is said to have so much cursed energy, he may never have to exhaust it in battle. Basically, it's nigh on unlimited cursed energy. You see, Yuta is actually special, as he's descended from a great vengeful spirit known as Michizaane Sugawara, a real-life historical figure that lived in the Han period of Japan and is revered in Shinto as the god of learning. And if you've seen our video on the life of Gojo Satoru, then the whole gist should ring a bell. And that's because Michizaane Sugawara is a common ancestor of Yuta Okkotsu and Gojo Satoru. So in terms of cursed energy, Gojo has a large amount as well, way more than most sorcerers. However, Gojo has a card up his sleeve. It's said that Gojo can use his cursed energy infinitesimally, or in very few fractions, such that his so-called limited energy becomes more unlimited while also maximizing output. An example is his curse technique Lapse Maximum Curse Energy Output Blue, which is a modification of the curse technique Lapse Blue. While the latter simply pulls the matter in a specific space together, the former makes the matter get crushed in a manner akin to a black hole. Therefore, in terms of cursed energy, we can say that Yuta has an immeasurable amount, but with an asterisk. And that asterisk is that Gojo can utilize his cursed energy better. And that brings us to technique. Gojo can utilize his cursed energy to unlimited potential, and that's partly because of his inherited abilities, Limitless and the Six Eyes. But as much as we're always tempted to tag everything under Gojo's innate abilities, he's also gotten a lot stronger from sharpening these abilities. In the Star Plasma Vessel arc, we see two examples of this. The first time is when he has to immediately grow as a sorcerer after Toji had dealt him a death blow. Instead, he immediately learns how to multiply negative energy to regenerate his badly damaged body. In this example, he hones his technique at a critical point in the battle. The fact that he has experienced or gotten to a point farther than anyone has ever taken him before forces him to develop and become stronger. In the future with his students, we see Gojo doing the same thing by throwing his students into tasks more dangerous than earlier anticipated and not being there to assist them. Itadori even dies on one occasion. It's kinda similar to when Jin from Bleach tries to kill Aizen. After surviving the scare and evolving to a stronger being, Aizen tells Jin that the fear that one could be annihilated at any moment is necessary for evolution. The second time we see Gojo sharpen his God-given ability is just after the battle with Toji. It seems like the death of Riko Amanai has done a number to Gojo, and he now wants to use his power to save everyone that he can save. And so he begins training. He trains so hard that even Geto acknowledges that he's even stronger than before. On the other hand, Yuta also has great technique, as we can see now. When he first began, Gojo gave him the sword with which he used to channel and control his cursed energy. He used his ring and loving words to coerce Rika, as any spouse rightly should. And he can even make use of special abilities like cursed speech, which many have noted might be a copycat ability like Kakashi from Naruto. Yuta can also utilize the reverse curse technique to access advanced healing abilities. However, in terms of technique, Gojo is miles ahead and the clear winner. And the reason is simple. Gojo has faced much stronger opponents and spent a lot more time training to sharpen his magnificent God-given abilities. So, let's compare those abilities, shall we? Abilities. We've already mentioned basically the abilities of both Yuta Okkotsu and Satoru Gojo, but let's give them more attention, starting with Yuta. The most important ability we've come to associate Yuta with, and Yuta will agree with this, is Rika, the special grade curse spirit he carries around. She has also been dubbed the Queen of Curses, and that title immediately rings several bells. And perhaps a video on Rika versus Sukuna needs to be made. You see, Rika perfectly translates to all techniques that Yuta is able to use. She has immense cursed energy that makes it almost impossible to exercise her, and she can attack physically as well as with Jujutsu. When we first encounter her, she's stuffing Yuta's bullies into a locker and hurting anyone that would come in his way. Up until the battle with Suguru Geto, Yuta never fully manifested Rika. The higher-ups themselves were worried that fully manifesting her would be devastating, thus making Yuta limit her appearance to having a bottom half that's a tail-like shadow. However, when Yuta sees that Geto is likely to defeat him, he decides to free Rika from her restrictions and fully manifest her. Geto's 4,461 curses in his maximum Uzumaki technique does not stand a chance against Rika. And this gang of curses even include one of the 16 special grade cursed vengeful spirits called Tamamo no Mai Incarnate. Yuta, willing to lay down his life to defeat Geto and his maximum Uzumaki technique, decides to promise Rika his love even in death. And this unleashes Rika's full potential. She fires a beam of pure love, the strongest curse of them all, towards Geto that defeats him, his technique, and Tamamo no Mai. Rika also has the ability to summon a megaphone marked with the snake eyes and fangs of the Inumaki. This megaphone enables Yuta to imitate cursed speech, an ability exclusive to the Inumaki family. It's not clear how far Yuta can go in terms of imitating cursed techniques. As for Gojo's abilities, well, you could say they're the most feared in the whole sorcerer society. But somehow, no one really envies or wants to find a way to use his powers. Most people just want it gone. For example, Geto has said to Gojo that he could kill all non-sorcerers if he wanted and change the world. And this is something he, Geto, wants to do himself, but he doesn't try to convince Gojo. However, when Geto meets Yuta, he tries everything to steal and put Rika under his command, since he knows that she's powerful enough to help him get that same goal. Kenjaku also doesn't care for coaching or stealing Gojo's body, and to be honest, it's probably because Gojo may be too powerful for him to subdue. In fact, Kenjaku turns Gojo's strength into a weakness in order to seal him. Gojo's 6 eyes and limitless technique let him sense and manipulate cursed energy in space in a way that only he can. He's able to see everyone's cursed energy, or, everyone. These abilities are said to be passed down through the Gojo family. However, Satoru is the first to have both the 6 eyes and limitless in 400 years, making him truly unique. Because of these abilities, he's able to use techniques like the Black Flash, Curse Technique Lapse Blue that pulls matter around a space to be pulled together, the Curse Technique Reversal Red that pushes matter away from a space, the Hollow Purple that combines red and blue to disintegrate all matter in its path, and probably more techniques that we don't even know of. With these abilities, he's able to make a lethal domain expansion, a metaphysical space that endlessly feeds his victims with stimuli so that they're comatose, and if exposed for even a few seconds, they could die. It's not even close in terms of abilities. The 6 eyes and limitless techniques are the most potent abilities to have in the Jujutsu Kaisen world that we currently know of. Sorcerer's opinions. I know I already made it clear that most sorcerers regard Gojo to be the strongest. However, it's still worth looking at the actual things that have been said about both Yuta and Gojo and reading between the lines for better comparison. As a matter of fact, one of the main reasons this question even exists is because of Itadori's encounter with Yuta. When Itadori senses Yuta, he mistakes his presence for their master Gojo's presence. Now that comparison is enough to raise an eyebrow over, right? Well, yes and no. You see, the reason Itadori would sense Yuta as Gojo is due to the strong and large amount of cursed energy that they both possess. It's almost unrivaled by any other sorcerer in the show. Yuta proceeds to give Itadori a whooping, but after the fight, Yuta himself admits that Itadori held back in the fight. And we know that this is because of the sadness weighing him down due to the events at the Shibuya incident. Aside from Itadori, nobody has made the comparison in that light. Kenjaku believes that Yuta can be as strong as Gojo. And as for the rest of the sorcerer world, well, they're scared of Gojo. From the day he was born, the balance of the world was said to have been disrupted and several sorcerers went into hiding. In fact, Gojo is so OP that these curses and sorcerers could only move freely after Gojo was sealed by Kenjaku. And this includes the higher-ups at Jujutsu High, as they moved to execute people like Itadori, whom Gojo had been protecting from them for so long. What's funny is that Gojo is the only one who believes that his students can surpass him. And to be honest, people like Yuta have a high ceiling with what they can potentially become. But the truth is, so does Satoru Gojo. Like I said at the beginning, Gojo is the strongest, and that should put this versus battle to bed now. But why does Gojo believe that his students will surpass him, even though that doesn't seem likely? He wasn't always like that. Click this video to find out why, and I'll see you there.